Hello, everybody. Good Friday. It's great to have you with us. We're on the cusp of 4th of July, Independence Day. How you guys doing? This is your host, Jim Masters. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. We are broadcasting worldwide right now on YouTube and on Facebook, all at Jim Masters TV. Good to see everybody today on this Friday night, the eve of 4th of July holiday here in the United States of America. It's going to be a little bit different this year, not so many big celebrations and parties and things of that nature, although I do believe Macy's is going to be doing their fireworks display with performances as well. So that'll be nice. That airs on 4th of July night, which is tomorrow. But we wanted to just check in and chime in on this night to say hello and check in with you to see how you're doing. Of course, as you know, this is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series that we created here for you, for me, for all of us, with lots of levity, as we call it, here on the Jim Masters Show, which is the combination of levity and love. And the whole show is about light, levity, and love. And that's what's paramount on this show. Amazing guests, great segments on location, all kinds of cool stuff that we do. And it's all in celebration of life. Again, it's sort of got an old school quality, but yet with modern sensibilities, this talk show series here. And it's always great to see all of you from all around the world. We always have so many comments that come in from people, which really moves my heart. I think it's fantastic when we have an opportunity to engage with you and share with you and have an opportunity to see some of the cool things that you guys are doing as well. We've got a nice show in store for you today. We're going to do lots of viewer interaction as well. If you have not had an opportunity to see any of our previous shows this week, it was a very busy week with lots of cool guests that we've had on the show as well. You can go back in the archives on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, and you can see all of the interviews, all the fabulous guests, all the great conversations we've had, and so much more here live on the program. So good to see you. We're going to say hello to lots of our guests, as you know, or our viewers who are like our guests as well. I mean, the whole show really is about you and me and light, levity, and love. And let's celebrate some of the amazing guests that are chiming in. They like to see me sort of display their names. So light, levity, levity. That's exactly right. Good to see you, Christopher Joseph, there in Ohio. So what are you guys going to be doing for the Independence Day holiday weekend? Are you going to lay low? You guys going to be celebrating with family and friends? Or are you just going to stay home and maybe have a little mini barbecue? Or some people are going to go out on their boats, because you can really social distance if you're on your boat, which is nice. And we're wearing the hat again. This is the hat everybody liked that I sported last night when I had Broadway television and film star and good friend Danny Bolero on. If you didn't see that interview last night, that was really cool, really fun interview. And he's going to be starring in Plaza Suite with Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. And it was supposed to be happening now, but if you watched the interview last night, it's going to be happening in March of 2021. I can't wait to go and check out Danny in that as well. And of course, we had Olivia Clark last couple of days ago, and so many great guests. Lionel Ketchian from the Happiness Club, happiness expert. If you need to be happy, if you want to find out how you can be happy and live happy, watch that episode. It was a really good, inspiring and inspirational episode, and one that a lot of people commented about, which I really appreciate. Before that, we had brain spotting expert and psychotherapist and writer and lecturer who's been on all kinds of television shows. He's an expert that's called upon. He was with us as well, David Grand, and so much more. So next week, we've got a lot of cool people joining us next week. So we invite you next week as well. And good to see everybody here. Willie with her tulips. She is in the Netherlands. Enjoy, everyone, as well. And Renee is here from Iowa. Happy Friday, everybody. It's good to see you with us here on the show. And again, this is a very interactive show. I'm your host, Jim Masters. If you're just joining us, I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. And 9 weeks ago, due to popular demand, we created this entertainment lifestyle talk show series. And I'm so happy we did, because we're getting an opportunity to engage with each other and celebrate with each other and have just a wonderful time, a cool time together. So hello, Jimbo. Hello, Chriso there in Ohio, and Merlyn. Good to see you. Happy Friday there in Inner Kip, Ontario, Canada. We salute you as well. And Willie says, hello, Jimmy. Have fun today. Thank you very much. You too. And I know it's late night. It's there 1 a.m. there in Holland. So thanks for your wonderful commitment and loyalty to our show. We appreciate that, Willie. Christine Fairwood in Connecticut says, happy 4th Eve. We thank you very much for that. Karen Levitt is here from New Hampshire. She says, hi, Jim and everyone. It's so great to see you here as well. Karen, boy, we have a lot of people watching. And happy 4th of July, everyone. Well, happy 4th of July to you as well. And happy 4th of July as well. Going to just roll out all the viewer interaction. Keep posting. We're going to have a lot of viewer interaction today. I got some good old Iowa sweet corn today. Ship that to the East Coast. Ooh, that sounds good. Always great to have it on the 4th. And do you have a garden? Do you guys have a farm? Do you have a garden where you are in Iowa there, Renee? Do you plant vegetables and all of that yourself? Or do you go to the farm stands and the local farms and just pick the corn running through the corn stalks? We used to do that visiting our aunt and uncle in northern Connecticut for years as kids. It's really cool when you run through those corn stalks and you pick the corn off the stalk. That's really cool. Happy, hopefully watching 4th of July with the Boston Pops. Really nice, really, really nice. That's always a good treat. Yum. Yeah, the sweet corn. I love sweet corn. Got to get some. Actually, we're overdue. We usually get sweet corn, and I love butternut squash too. I love yellow squash. I'm really somebody who loves all the different squashes. The summer vegetables are just fantastic and love all of that. We will be staying at home, around home tomorrow, maybe grill out. A lot of people are doing that. We live along the coast, so we're going to be, active along the coast, but of course, social distancing, wearing the masks, and so much more. And from the deck view, fireworks at the beach, grill and relax. A nice, relaxing 4th of July weekend coming up. One where we can all, celebrate our blessings, our joy, our freedom as well. And again, it's important to do that because, oftentimes we sort of forget about the things that really are important that not a lot of other people have in other parts of the world. So we're very blessed. And sing the song, I Want to Be Happy. Are you going to be doing that? Is that what you're going to be doing, Christopher? If that's the case, maybe we'll hear that one of these days. Kathleen Walker is here in place. Hi, Jim, and hi, all. I changed it up a little bit. I went right to the viewer comments before I did the toast and the welcome from the cast of characters. So they're all here. Don't worry about it. All your friends are here. But I wanted to get right to you guys because, again, we've had a tremendous week of conversation and guests and really amazing shows. We've got an amazing lineup next week, too, and all the way until September. We're already booking into September, that's a blessing. That's amazing for a show that just started 9 weeks ago, and to have night after night after night just filled with so much entertainment. And again, even this show today, which we've been working on and formatting and creating for you today, is a real honor and a privilege to deliver to you for some light levity and to put a smile on your face. It's raining here now. We had a nice day, but then around noon, it became really, really humid. And then all of a sudden, boom, you heard the thunder, the lightning, and just all of a sudden, the skies let loose with a lot of rain. The flowers and the lawns and the trees need the rain, but better at rain, I guess, today than over the weekend. It's supposed to be a significantly beautiful weekend here in the northeastern United States, between New York and Boston, the greater New York area. Good to see you, Kathleen. And Linda Hutchinson, happy 4th weekend from Alabama. Great to see you in Alabama. And how are you guys going to be celebrating the holiday weekend, Linda? Are you going to just relax? Are you going to go to the park? Are you going to do some, family event or something? Or are you just going to sit back and just, have some hot dogs and cheeseburgers and potato salad and macaroni salad and corn on the cob and maybe some ice cream, some watermelon? Sounds really good. I'm getting hungry already. If you send corn, we send fresh lobster. LOL. That's right. Yes, the lobster and some nice crab and some pumpkin pie. I love the fall. The fall is, I was born in the fall in September, so I am partial to the fall. I know some people don't like the fall because it seems like it's an ending, but for me, it's always like the anticipation of the holidays, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, which are two of my favorite holidays. But there's something about the warmth of the fall and the sweaters and the pumpkin pie and the hot apple cider. I'll speak in a minute. Hot apple cider, and also the fireplace, and just the home and hearth feeling of the fall is really nice. The fall foliage, especially here in the Northeast, the foliage is really quite outstanding. So we're blessed here. But the fall, I love. This is a very interesting summer so far, isn't it? Could you believe it's already 4th of July weekend? Doesn't seem it, does it? There's something just not there. But you're there and I'm here, and let's make the most of everything we can together, right? That's what the show's all about. No garden, just have tomato plants. The corn stands opened up today. Oh, that's nice. So they probably were closed for a bit. And I imagine people are probably spaced out in between as well. And Christine says, and she's in Connecticut, too early for our corn. Yeah, I would imagine late July, early August, the right time for the corn. In New England, roughly, depending on whether in northern New England or southern New England. You're in southern New England. You haven't had any sweet corn or squash yet, huh? I haven't since summer started. I haven't had any sweet corn or squash yet. And we have to get some into the building because I love corn. Just this, you have that corn with the butter dripping off it, and butter and sugar corn is really good too. My uncle and aunt used to grow butter and sugar corn. I mean, rows and rows of the stalks of it. Oh, so good. And cucumbers, fresh cucumbers from the garden too, if you like cucumbers, and fresh lettuce and everything, string beans and peppers and tomatoes. It's just something about it when you're a kid. They used to take us on tractor rides too. My uncle did when we were kids. Believe me, we would still love to do that now. We don't have to be kids in order to still do that. And then take us through, and my uncle would give my sister and me and other cousins that would be visiting each a basket, like a big sort of brown wicker type basket, those heavy, sturdy ones. And we would be going through the huge acreages of gardens that my Uncle Ray, who's originally from Massachusetts, Duxbury, Massachusetts, but they lived in Connecticut. And we would go and be able to pick whatever we want. Okay, kids, and all the cousins and all of us would run through the fields of everything and be picking everything and being so excited to be able to carry the big basket. Sometimes, the basket ended up bigger than us. So we were sort of like teetering over, or we'd have to drag the basket because we would pile it up with stuff. And then that would become salads and other things that my Aunt Gertie and my mother would be there as well, and father and everybody, and be a big meal. There'd be like other things too, potatoes and meat and other things, but the vegetables would be surrounding the meal, and all the kids picked it. And that was cool to be able to do that. So, kids, they love gardens. They love running into like big corn stalks and just picking. I think it's great when you do that with a kid. Give them the opportunity to do something like that. It's just natural, especially with the land of video games that we're in right now. Getting them out in nature and getting them to feel the soil. And there's something really cool about that. And when you're picking all the vegetables and fruits for your aunt and uncle, you feel important, special, like you've been given a very special assignment to take the basket, and you be able to do that. And as kids, we did that every time we would come up from New York, and we would spend about a month of our summers in Connecticut and Massachusetts, because my mother is the youngest of like 16. So we'd visit Aunt Gertie and Uncle Ray and be with them predominantly, and then visit all the other cousins and relatives and aunts and uncles throughout New England. And it was always fantastic. So the garden, very, very big, and the sweet corn. It is here also for Julie, but we don't. Nodding, I want to America. You want to come to America? Is that what you're saying? Well, you're always welcome. But right now, I don't think there's a lot of I don't think there's any flights going back and forth right now. No plans for the weekend, just staying in and relaxing. Yeah, you can't even watch a Met game, unless you watch reruns of it from past years. So you're going to just lay low, stay cool, just relax, hang out, which is nice. Every once in a while, it's nice to do that, right? And hope you have a fantastic 4th, just cooling out and relaxing. You know, we've all been going through a lot collectively as a people. So relaxing is okay. There's nothing wrong with relaxing. We all need to do that from time to time. Lobsters on sale already. Yay. Ooh, fresh New England lobsters. It's from Maine. Very good. I love crab as well. Good stuff. And Renee Rennie Katz, who's going to be joining us next week. Have a wonderful 4th of July, Jim. We have a few acorn squash and zucchini and tomato plants in the Midland, believe it or not. And she's in the Midland of Flushing, Queens, New York, and has the acorn squash, the zucchini, tomato plants. You know, I forgot about the zucchini squash. I love that too. Really love that as well. My mother and my aunts on my mother's side have always done canning. Have you guys done canning? You know, where you take the vegetables and then you sort of soak them and slice them and do the different things, and you can them in those ball jars. Oh boy, years and years of bread and butter pickles made from scratch, and cranberry relishes, and all kinds of tomato relishes, and stewed tomatoes, and all kinds of different things that were canned over the years. Again, they call it canning, but it's actually in those glass ball jars with that lid on top, and then you put them away in a cold spot. And then when you needed a jar of something, there it was. I don't know if people do that to the degree that they used to do that. Again, they might not even have the big gardens that they used to have as well. But that was always fun. And when we would come up to see our relatives, we were sent home with so much food as well, like cases of jars of things, and sandwiches that were made for us for our trip back. Really, really cool when you look back in time. So that's great. Good stuff. And happy 4th of July to you, Rennie. And we love having you with us as well. Marilyn Hammond, hello from Kansas. Now, I imagine, Marilyn, you are loaded with all kinds of farms, vegetables, all kinds of fruit stands, different things in your area. At least when I was out to Wichita, I saw a lot of that. And fields and fields, of course, of grains and so much more for the breads and flour and everything else that you guys are known for. What are you going to be doing on the Independence Day holiday weekend? Are you going to be barbecuing, going to be celebrating with family, or just relaxing there in beautiful Kansas? Linda is going to have a family outing with family, including watermelon. Good choice. I haven't had watermelon in about a year. You know, there's nothing better sometimes when you have it that comes right out of the garden, and you just pick it fresh. Or if you go to one of those local farm stands, it is important, especially now, to support local as much as possible. Of course, the major retailers and businesses can use our support as well, but the local people, they've really been struggling. It's very, very difficult because not everybody's necessarily jumping out of their house and running to the store and running to the bakery and running to the places, no matter where you are around the country. People aren't necessarily just running to the places. So supporting local as much as you can is really a nice thing. You know, you can't overspend either. Now more than ever, you have to watch your dollars. But if you can get something fresh, if you can get something local, made with love and care, and you know the local people, that's amazing. That relationship when you go to see the tailor, or you go to the farm stand or the bakery or the local ice cream shop or the local deli or restaurant. It's really important. And they, you know, pay taxes to your community, and they're there. They're your neighbors who run these shops and stores. So it's big. And, you know, I've seen some places close up that were there before everything happened, and now they're not because they just couldn't stretch out the losses. So hopefully, if we can support our local businesses, we've been doing that. We've been getting some takeout here and there and trying to support local as best as we can, because hardworking people that have local businesses. Absolutely. If you're just joining us, this is the place on the dial. That's a real broadcasting term. That's how we used to say it. The place on the dial, the best place on the dial, the best channel. Where you find light, levity, and love, or Levity. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series where it's all about fun. It's all about the art of conversation. Again, we have great guests. We have all kinds of great segments. We're going to be doing some fun things in just a moment. but I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things, is having an opportunity to talk to all of you. Jim Masters' show is like butter. I love that. Butter. Yes, smooth butter. That's what we want it to be, right? Because there's a lot of rough edges out there these days. So why not we have a little butter together and just spread it around and enjoy. Oh, I got to do this before Willie goes to bed. Willie, there you go. There's your Dutch tulips. I was going to say roses. Your Dutch tulips, because the roses are out this time of year around here. So there's your tulips for Willie from the Netherlands. I got to do that before she heads to bed, because it's late where she is in Holland, beautiful Holland. Native tomatoes for Christine Fairwood. Native tomatoes, yum. Yes, native tomatoes are really, really good, aren't they? Fresh tomatoes sliced. What's strange? I don't know if it's happened to you guys, but it certainly has to me. There are some things that I didn't like when I was a kid that I like now. For example, and my sister's similar, although there's a couple of things my sister still doesn't really go for that I like, that I've always liked. But tomatoes, when I was a kid, I never really liked them. I liked tomato sauce, tomato soup, tomato juice, tomato paste, the tomato flavor. But to go and just pick a tomato and slice it, I don't know, maybe it's the seeds, maybe it's the acid, the water, the fleshy, who knows? Now, back then you couldn't even put it on my sandwich when I was a kid, but now I love them. They're great. I didn't like bananas as a kid either. Maybe because they turn brown quick and mushy or whatever. Who knows? Wasn't a fan of bananas as much. Now I love bananas. Now I can't get enough of bananas. Isn't that amazing how that works? My sister still doesn't like peas. I love peas. I love pea soup. I like all peas sometimes in the macaroni salad, or I just love peas. I've always loved peas. I get that from my father. But some people, they just don't like certain things like that. Is there anything that you didn't like when you were a child that now all of a sudden you like? A fruit, a vegetable? It's amazing. Bananas and tomatoes for me, I love them now, but didn't always like them as a kid for some reason. It was more of a texture thing, I guess. Native tomatoes, yum. I would agree now for sure. Renee in Iowa says the yellow and white corn mixed is a favorite here. Yeah, the yellow and white and the butter and sugar, as they call it. That's what most people grow to sell, is that kind. That's really, really delicious. And how about you, Christine? You say you think we call the yellow and white butter and sugar. Yeah, that maybe that's only in certain parts of the country, but generally that's how I've always heard it. And it does have a little bit of a sweetness to it, not too much, because it really isn't sugar. Although corn, technically, turns into sugar. But if you have it within reason, especially on a holiday weekend, while you can celebrate with us, yes, we are celebrating with you right here, right now, and we love it. Yes, I agree, Christopher. There is always a great 4th of July celebration. It's the Capital 4th, as it's called, celebration on PBS. They've been doing that for many years out of Washington, D.C. Hi, Jim. I'm getting hungry. I know. I am too. So before I continue, keep posting. Let's have some fun here. Interactive. A lot of people don't do that. It's all about them talking and that's it. But when I have the guests on, I bring you guys in too, and the guests love your comments. I have to tell you, when I talk to the guests after the show, they feel so touched by the comments that you guys post when you're watching this talk show series, and you're loving what you're seeing, you're loving what you're hearing. I mean, I, as host of the show, really appreciate these comments, love these comments, and they motivate me to keep doing all of this. I've always been interactive with viewers and listeners who have followed me on television, radio all these years, and I love doing this with you here on the internet. And the guests too, they really appreciate the love and support. What they say after we do the interviews is they can feel the positive vibe here. They absolutely feel the love that this show generates, and the contentment, the humor. We get into some serious stuff too, and we touch upon everything you can touch upon in life, basically. But they just love the vibe, the feeling. It's relaxed, it's conversational. I think it was maybe Merlyn last night. Somebody had said, We're bringing back the art of conversation, which has gone away. And I've always loved that. So I'm getting hungry. So I don't have food in front of me right now. However, we're going to toast you guys and then we'll continue. Since Alice in California is getting hungry, we are going to toast you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Now we just have a very light, it's sort of like a raspberry, it's like a seltzery raspberry, almost like one of those Seagram's light spritzer refresher drinks. Just very, very light and very summery. Very, very nice. Oh, for those of you who have been looking for Ken, you know our great viewer, Ken. Well, I spoke to Ken. And Ken is an avid viewer of the show. And there's just a couple of things that, he's tending to within his own world right now. So he watches the show. You just haven't seen him comment because he hasn't been able to, but he does watch and he's going to be back real soon. Just had to take care of a couple of things, personal health things and stuff like that. So he's fine. Everything's good. But I just wanted to give you an update because a couple of people asked about Ken because usually you see Ken always posting. And Ken actually has been following me on social media well before we even launched the show. So we give our blessings to Ken as well. And he'll be back real soon. Yes, you canned a lot with your mom and grandma. You did, huh? You canned a lot of great stuff. What did you can? Tomatoes. And did you ever do those bread and butter pickles? Oh, I love those. Yeah, I love when they're done from scratch. I just remember my Aunt Gertie had a double sink. And I just remember seeing the tomatoes soaking in the double sink. And as a kid, it was just fun, just fun to see what everybody, and I mean, there was like a big process. They take it seriously. My relatives, my mother too got involved in doing it. They took it really seriously. There were pots steaming on the stove and they'd be up all night. I got to tell you a quick story. I just thought of something really funny involving my mother, my Uncle Ray, and my Aunt Gertie, my mother's oldest sister. This was one of the nights when we would go up to visit them in Connecticut and Massachusetts. My mother and my aunt, because they're sisters, obviously, would stay up almost all night. And they would be whipping out all the cookbooks and they would be looking at recipes. And my aunt once made my cousin Barbara's wedding cake. She made her shower cake and then she made her beautiful wedding cake. It had the fountain underneath. Remember, she was a nervous wreck because she actually made that wedding cake from scratch and it was unbelievable. But my mother and my aunt, loving each other so much, as sister, because my aunt is the oldest of the 16 and my mother's the youngest. So my aunt is sort of like a mother figure and more of a grandmother figure to us and more of like a motherly type figure to my mother, just because of the age and the generation and the way of doing things. So they would stay up late and they'd be talking and catching up and they'd be at the kitchen table at my aunt and uncle's house in northern Connecticut and the greater Hartford area. And we kids, the kids would be in bed. My uncle probably went to bed. Maybe my father would have gone to bed by then. But my aunt and my mother would be in the kitchen and oh boy, the table was filled with recipes and cookbooks and all this stuff. And my uncle actually, this particular night, I don't remember this. This was a story that was passed to me, but it was very funny. My uncle had he had to work late one of the nights till I think 4 a.m. It was a third shift thing or something where he had to work late till 4 a.m. So my aunt and my mother thought that they were very spry by closing up all the cookbooks, putting everything away, turning the lights out, knowing that he got home or he was going to get home around 5 a.m. I think that night for whatever. There was he was away traveling and then he was coming back and he was going to be there at 5. So they didn't want him to think that they were up late talking and all of that. So what they did was they turned the lights off, except for the outside light for him. They put the cookbooks and everything away. They went to bed. And I guess my uncle, who you couldn't really put anything past Uncle Ray at all. You just couldn't. He's the one with the big garden and everything, originally from Duxbury, Massachusetts. That real Massachusetts accent. He would say, we're going to Hatfield, we're going to Boston, Red Sox, all of that. So you couldn't put it past him if you were going to do something like turn the lights out, put the cookbooks away, and go back upstairs, because the next morning when we were all at the table having breakfast at my aunt and uncle's house, my uncle said to my aunt, her name is Gertrude or Gertie, Gerty, Gertie. He said, Gertie, what time do you guys go to bed last night? And she said, oh, we went at midnight. Helen and I went at midnight. And he said, you did? She said, yeah, Ray. We went at midnight. And he said, I don't think so. And she said, Ray, what do you mean? What do you mean? You don't think so? He said, I don't think you guys really went to bed at midnight. You never go to bed at midnight when you're together. You bring out all the photo albums and the cookbooks, and you're just talking and having a cup of coffee and reminiscing with the family and everything at the kitchen table there. She said, Ray, yes, we went to bed at midnight. And he said, Gertie, you didn't. And she goes, well, how do you know? You came in at 5 a.m. or whatever. And he goes, well, because when I came home, I touched the light bulb in the kitchen light, and it was still hot. So he knew that they were not. There's no way that they went to bed at midnight. So when he came in, he touched the bulb on the kitchen light. That's so old school. He touched the bulb on the kitchen light, and it was still blazing hot. So there's no way that they could have just gone to bed 4 hours before, 5 hours before. Caught in the act. Boy, was that funny. That was funny. I like stories like that, family stories that you hear about. Yes, getting very hungry. I'm still getting hungry too. And what did you can, Renee, in Iowa? What were the things you canned with your mother and grandmother? Good to see you. Yes, lots of love from Canada. Willie, my plan, vacation in America, but the corona come and no flight next year. So you're planning to come to the United States of America. Well, that is wonderful. We certainly welcome you. You're going to be warmly welcomed when it's safe and you're able to do it. Yes, my family cans, the best. Isn't it cool when you get a chance to do that? Really, really love it. That's a good question. What is squash? They don't have squash in the Netherlands, I guess. How do you define what it is? It's a vegetable. Usually they're long. Zucchini is dark. You know what? Zucchini looks almost like cucumber. So if you can think of a cucumber, zucchini almost looks like cucumber, a little darker. The skin on the outside is a little more tender. Cucumber is tougher. So it looks like a cucumber, but a little bit thinner, a little bit longer. There's yellow. And then if you take that and just envision that same thing as yellow, that's what a yellow squash would be. And then there's acorn squash, there's spaghetti squash, I know people probably think of spaghetti dinner, but it's not. And then there's also butternut squash, which is a bigger, almost light salmon color, and then it's dark orange inside, and it's so sweet. Butternut squash. We'd always go home with the butternut squash, and then a couple of times my uncle and aunt would ship us butternut squash they grew in the garden, and we get a package filled with butternut squash. And I don't know about you, but certain squashes, turnips and butternut squash are really difficult to slice because we make a lot of that stuff here. And I just know that, you really gotta use it all, and you gotta make sure the knife is not going to slip, but it's worth it. So we would slice it in half and then lay them down, wrap the bottoms in tin foil, of course, take any seeds out, and then slit the orange part in the middle and put some butter in it, a little bit of, and then the part where it's like a little, sort of like a little gully in the squash, put some butter in there, and then put it in the oven, roast it for, it does take a while. Squash is thick, so it takes, a while for it to get tender and everything. But, when you took that out of the oven, how delicious the butternut squash is. So that's basically what squash is. Yes, you could think about it that way too. That's a good Renee in Iowa would know. Squash are in the same food family. There you go, Willie. That's a good analogy there. Squash is in the same food family as pumpkins. So if you know pumpkins, similar with the way the outside is, and then and watermelon too, similar, just with the seeds inside, and I think you'd love it if you've never had it before. So that's what it's all about. Okie. Thank you, Renee. So that's what it is. And Alice in California is going to the local farmers market tomorrow. That's fantastic. I hope you enjoy. And when you go to the farmers market, what do you normally get? What are some of the things you're going to fill your basket with tomorrow? Christopher Joseph, property taxes are coming in soon. I pray that people will be able to pay their taxes. I know. I'm sort of hoping for everybody that they sort of extend things a little bit to help people with the taxes, all the taxes, because it can be difficult right now. It's even if people are working still, not everybody's making a lot of money to pay bills. You don't go to bed. Terrific. We're glad you don't go to bed. Not yet. And before I continue, yes, your friends are here. George Burns is here. He says hello. I know everybody looks for George Burns. There's no other show on the internet or on TV or radio or wherever else where you're going to find this guy, unless you watch reruns of Burns and Allen. So George Burns says hello to all of you. He sees you all. He says hello to everybody. And Jeannie is here as well. Jeannie is in there. Jeannie says hello. How you doing in there, Jeannie? You all right? Yes, Master. So she's in there. I don't know if you can see her. I don't want to tip it too much, but she is in there. She's waving at you, but I don't want to tip it too much because if you tip it over, she'll fall out on her head. We can't have that. I know everybody looks for Silver, so Silver's here as well from Switzerland. Silver's here. There he is. He sees all of you. Didn't you love last night with Broadway and TV and film star Danny Bolero on the show last night? And he had on his lap his dog, his Bichon, Mozart. Watch that episode. It's posted on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Don't forget, if you are on YouTube, subscribe to the Jim Masters TV channel on YouTube. We would love that. And spread the word to all your friends about the channel. That's where all of the episodes are posted. There is a wonderful interview that I did with the daughter of legendary comedian and dear friend of mine, actually, I know her personally, Rain Pryor. She opens up about her life, about her dad, Richard Pryor, the legendary comedian, and all of the fantastic things that she has been doing in her life as a comedian, as a writer, as a producer. She's working on a TV project with Norman Lear, which is really, really exciting. So check that interview out. If you go to Jim Masters TV on YouTube, all the interviews are there. Everybody loved Danny Bolero last night. And a week from tonight, Yeah, a week from tonight, Stan Livingston's going to be with us. Who's that? He played Chip on My Three Sons. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. A lot of my friends that work in television have mentioned that. So there's Silver, and he is there to say hello to you as well. And of course, I know you guys look for Jimmy. Jimmy is here. Jimmy says hello. There he is. He's saying hello to you guys as well, putting light, levity, and love, or levity and smiles. There you go. That's a proper wave, right? As Willie there in Holland still doesn't go to bed, which is good. We appreciate that. And of course, I know we sort of did it backwards today, right? Usually we do this first, but hey, life is constantly changing. Little lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action. We go big style, big time here. Hollywood. There you go. Supposedly, now we officially started, but we're already into the game here. More comments coming in. Yes, right now, Americans cannot get on planes and go to Europe right now. We are banned due to the rise of the COVID. I enjoy with you. Well, we enjoy having you as well. And thank you, everybody. All the love, all the comments, all the support. even my friends in television and radio and music and film and all these industries, Broadway and so much more, are also watching the show along with all of you. They're watching this and they're telling all their friends, and I love it. And it's everybody finds the positivity about it, and that's what's cool. It's got some old school qualities with modern sensibilities. That's how people are describing it. They're saying like, oh, this feels like it's Johnny Carson's or Dick Cavett or Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, yet with the current sensibilities of today and modern feel and vibe of today, which is an interesting mix. I love that mix. Mike Ferrante says, San Marzano tomatoes are the very best. They are delicious. And now I'm getting really hungry thinking about those. I bet you guys, Alice is probably in California starving now thinking about that. Matter of fact, Alice, onions for Alice in California. Alice, I love them too, especially when you slice them and you grill them and you put them on the top of things. I like tomato soup, tomato sauce, but don't like tomatoes. Doesn't that sound like that almost sounds like something that would be for like I don't know, like a soup commercial for a kid or something. I like tomato soup, tomato sauce, but I don't like tomatoes. That's cute. That really is cute. I love tomato soup. We like to make things from scratch. I love, I'm blessed with family that likes to make soups and stews, casseroles. Ooh, that good comfort food. But with me too, on top of that, you give me some good mashed potatoes and I'm done. I love mashed potatoes. I think that's the Irish in me that craves the potatoes. I'm sure you, knowing that you have the Irish in you as well, Kathleen, there in Queens, New York, the Queen of Queens. I'm sure you love the potatoes too. Potato soup, corn chowder. I think it's becoming a food segment. Yeah, tomato soup I love tomato soup, but you don't like tomatoes. Isn't that amazing? We call it cream and sugar corn. So in Iowa, what would be the yellow and white sugar, or the yellow and white corn, which we call here butter and sugar corn. You guys call it cream and sugar corn. That's cool. See, you learn something new every day here on our show. My mom made us eat what was on the plate. Remember when those days existed? You had to eat what was on the plate, or if you didn't get dessert, or sometimes you could even be sent to your room. The thing about today is if a kid is sent to their room, they want to be sent to their room. Why? They want to be sent to their room because inside their room, it's like NASA. They've got everything in there, all the video game equipment and the cell phone and the TVs. And, years ago, what you had in your room was your bureau, your bed, maybe a TV if you were lucky, but sometimes not, and a hamper, and maybe some posters and different things you had on your walls. But it isn't like today where they actually want to be sent to their room because some live in their rooms anyway. So the thing would be to say, you can't go to your room. You have to stay at the table with us. So sort of a reverse psychology. Years ago, you didn't want to be sent to your room. Now they want to be sent to the room. So if you do the reverse psychology and just say, hey, you know what? You have to stay here with mom and dad and watch us continue to eat. Maybe that would work. But that's funny. So she made you eat what was on the plate. Peaches and cream corn. Wow, never had that combination. I love cream corn. Cream corn over mashed potatoes. There was a thing we had years ago too called chicken a la king. Sometimes I see it still around, but I don't know now. But back then it tasted good. Peaches and cream corn, yummy. That's an interesting combination. Peaches and cream corn. Wow, that sounds really, really delicious. Back in the days, you're like herring, and now creepy. Actually, I should pull up some video on that at some point. When I was in the Netherlands on 2 different TV shoots, we were in a restaurant area there. We were in Amsterdam, your hometown, and we had herring, fresh herring. And it's like the guy wants, it was actually for a TV show. So we were filming segments, and you see on the TV show, I'm like eating the herring like that. It was really interesting. I never had herring like that before. And I got the Buttons movie DVD today. That's terrific. Yes, Olivia Clarke, my dear friend, who we always gather with at Carnegie Hall and elsewhere, singer and actress, songwriter. Could you believe she's only 16 years old? I know. She seems like she's 25, the way she just presents herself. After that show, that was 2 nights ago, my interview with my dear friend Olivia Clark, who was in Buttons, the movie presented by Tim Janse, starring Dick Van Dyke, that wonderful segment where she was performing with Dick Van Dyke and Angela Lansbury in that movie and so much more. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie, and took several years for them to put that together. And she is the little girl that stars in it. Now she's 16, but it's amazing. She's just very, very talented, and she loved being on the show. She and her mother and I were on the phone for about an hour after the show. She loved being on the show. She said she felt so comfortable here. She doesn't normally do these kinds of things, so she felt very welcomed and very supported. And they actually drove all the way to South New Jersey to be in that specific studio to be able to perform like she did and debut exclusively here on our show that really touching song that she wrote in support of the essential workers and nurses and doctors and so much more. That was really, really a beautiful thing that she did. And because we have this friendship, she wanted to debut that song here for the first time. Never heard before anywhere. Only her family heard that song. So that was a blessing. So enjoy Buttons. You're going to love that. Willie says, well, so Merlyn is saying to Willie, loved pickle herring. Then there's gefilte fish. How many people like that? I love that, Willie. That's very nice. Toast to you as well. We get our glasses. We raise our glasses. Toast to you guys as well there in New York, over on Long Island. Mike. Willie again in Holland, and Renee's toasting, and Willie is toasting, and my son in New Jersey ordered me a pizza delivered to my door here in Kansas, made it a special day. Wow, your son in New Jersey called one of your local pizza shops there in Kansas, ordered the pizza, had it delivered to the door, and it made your day. That's a beautiful thing. I do things like that for my folks too, and that's a beautiful thing. So enjoy that. Enjoy every slice. I'm drinking cranberry apple juice. Very nice, Christopher. We canned everything, even pickled green beans. Wow, I love green beans. I grew green beans. When I was a kid, I had a garden too. We had tomatoes, green beans. I tried squash, corn, watermelon. It was really cool. The ants love the corn. You got to watch the ants. They love the corn. How sweet. We actually, we did bib lettuce too. Bib lettuce. Lettuce is very difficult to grow. It's not so easy to grow. You gotta, the soil has to be just right. And then I made a compost pile too. And, I saw my relatives do it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make a compost pile. Don't throw that out. We're going to put it in the compost pile at the garden. And the compost pile, of course, is great because it makes the soil so rich with nutrients. So we're talking about gardening and food and all kinds of stuff here. We're starving. Willie is stop. I'm hungry. So what do you got there? It's almost 2 a.m. Eggs. Can you do a hard-boiled egg or soft-boiled egg maybe to keep you from starving? Merlyn as well. Jim Masters, your childhood was the best. We were very blessed, still are. You tell the best stories. I love listening to you. Thank you very much, Alice. I appreciate that. Willie says, I like your stories. Definitely a storyteller. Oh, yeah, busted. You're going back busted. You're saying my mother and my aunt busted when my uncle came in and touched the kitchen light and it was still hot when they said that they had gone to bed at midnight when it was really 5 a.m. when they went to bed. Yes, he was a very smart uncle. You cannot put anything past him. What a good tip as well. And Jacqueline Fakara Caputo says, hi, Jim and everyone. Hello to you as well, Jacqueline and Renee. We canned a lot of green beans, tomatoes, beets, corn, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that's something that I never really liked as a kid, beets. My father loves beets and sardines. I now like beets and sardines as well. Didn't like sardines as a kid. Didn't like beets as a kid. Now I like them, and they're actually very good for you too. Squash is so good. Yes. Yes. Do you slice it? Or sometimes people fry it. Sometimes people bread the zucchini and they lightly fry it up. Or sometimes, you can just mash it and put butter in it, especially the yellow squash. You can do that as well. And Linda Hutchinson says, your stories make me happy, the same as when Paul Green sings. As you know, he is awesome. Yeah, he's a dear friend. And if you want to see my interview with my dear friend Paul Green, actor and musician, singer, and maybe Paul and I will perform together one of these days. I've only been sharing a little bit of my singing voice with you guys. I haven't fully rolled that out here in this venue. I have before. I've been in choruses before over the years, but haven't fully shared that yet on this program. However, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe we will. And of course, Paul is always in all the Hallmark movies and he's a great dear friend. Renee says our taxes are paid from mortgage payments, so that's how it works for you there. And green beans, beets, garlic, cabbage, kale, and strawberries. Ooh, that sounds really, really good. My uncle also grapevines too. So they would have grape jelly. They would make grape jelly, which was delicious. Also cranberry jelly, because they did the cranberries too. And in addition to the cranberries and the grapes, they would also do, he would do wine from the grapes as well. His own wine. So I think they call that moonshine, right? When it's your sort of your own wine that's on shelving in the basement. I was a kid, so I couldn't tell you what that tasted like, but I knew what the grape jelly and the jam tasted like, and the cranberry jelly. It was awesome. Danny Bolero, our guest last night, Broadway and television film star, dear friend. He was spectacular yesterday as well. Loved Danny and Mozart. Yes, he had Mozart as Bichon on his lap. You agree as well. And it was a very good interview. I remember him from Blue Bloods. That's right. He was on Blue Bloods on CBS as well. And bed, I couldn't go to bed, not for all the jewels in the crown. Jimmy the Clown is the mini-me. Oh, yeah, I think so, right? Or that graduation statue that my mother made that I showed, and we did the episode where one segment of the episode, we celebrated all the graduates, remember? Iowans can't go to New York now either. We are banned from there. Iowa can't come to the greater New York area, huh? Is Iowa having a rise in the COVID right now, Iowa? I know there's like 32 states that are. Well, I know in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, and I think there's a couple more states, they do have, people aren't banned, but what it is you have to quarantine for 14 days. So if you drive here, take a train, or fly here, I mean, they're relying on the good faith of people, but they're doing that because in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, and I think Massachusetts and Rhode Island too, things are actually, knock on wood, are relatively good. It's probably the best part of the country right now, even better than Alaska and Hawaii and California and Florida and elsewhere, because they were really stringent about what, things closed, schools closed really early. They are stringent about the masks, the social distancing, and people were following. Not everybody, believe me, not everybody, and that's a whole debate about that, but that's a whole other type of show. Maybe I'll do a show like that where it gets really, we could do a rant show, boy. But because people, I guess did what you had to do so far, we're sort of in the green. Things are really, really good in this area. We're very, very fortunate, blessed, and lucky. So the reason why they're doing that quarantining is with all the work that's been done to get it the way it is here in the Northeast, they're fearful that, it may come back, and then the entire country is dealing with it. Bless everybody that is. We still all are dealing with the ramifications of everything. So we have many more comments coming in here and talking about all the fresh vegetables, watermelon. Oh, so good. Fond memories from my mom, great aunts from New England and Canada, gathering in the kitchen, long table cookbooks. Yep. Canning, quite the process, labor of love, the bread and butter, pickles, tomatoes. Oh my God, love those. Are you my cousin, Karen? You're up in New Hampshire. Maybe you're a cousin. It sounds like it's very similar to what my mother's side of the family did. Alice in California says, love your show, and we love you. It's a blessing to have you here on the show, and I love it. And fried green tomatoes. Yes, fried green tomatoes. I believe Fanny Flagg was in that movie Fannie Flagg, very popular actress. You'd always see her on Match Game with Gene Rayburn. Remember Match Game? Let's see. Renee says, my kids loved ketchup, but not tomatoes. Isn't that amazing? Ketchup, tomato soup, tomato paste, tomato sauce, sauce on spaghetti and everything else, but not tomatoes. Isn't that funny? I think that's a kid thing sometimes, although Kathleen still doesn't like tomatoes. She's just a big kid at heart anyway. Sounds like a good commercial to me. Yes, I agree. Fabulous comments coming in. Keep them coming. This is fun. Now I like, beets and parsnips. Wouldn't touch them as a child. Yeah, parsnips. And another one is asparagus. I was not a lover necessarily of asparagus until my cousin Ursula made these incredible asparagus tips for one of the holidays. And they were very tender. And they had these wonderful flavors, different little salt and pepper, and maybe another little spice, maybe garlic. I don't know what it was. I got to get that recipe from her. It was delicious. And every time now when I see her, like, are you making those asparagus tips again? She goes, yeah. She goes, yes, Jimmy. I love potatoes too, Irish. Yeah, the potatoes are, I love potatoes. You can give me potatoes however they're done. They could be fried, they could be sliced, they could be boiled potatoes. I haven't had boiled potatoes for years. My father's side of the family, the English-Irish side, they love the boiled potatoes. And also I like the potatoes, we call them like scraped potatoes, but they're sort of like, they're almost like potato pancakes in a way. You get them usually for breakfast or something. When we're driving from the Northeast to Florida and we're stopping off at all the little breakfast places in the Carolinas and Georgia, Virginia, wherever, we always like to go to the breakfast places, and I always end up getting a breakfast that is 4 times more than I could probably eat. But I somehow, because I'm usually the one that's doing the driving and I don't relinquish the wheel, I don't know why everybody's like, we could take turns in the car. I don't know. I like to be in control of the car or something. I don't know what it is, but we always stop off at breakfast places down south, and, you get the grits with the butter and, because I like all that stuff too, oatmeals and farinas and those things. Can't eat all that all the time, a lot of carbs, but it's also good for your digestion. Jim Masters Cooking Show, eat every bean and pea on your plate. Yes, I agree. I love that idea. And, I also I know a couple of people who hate vegetables and they don't like fruits, or some people like fruits and they just don't like the vegetables. I've been lucky. I've always liked vegetables. Creamed corn and mashed potatoes. Agreed. The Irish is showing. I think so, huh? Is it in the twinkle of my eyes? Is it in my ears, maybe? It's probably in the dimples. Those got passed down as well. Our Dutch relatives eat herring too. I tried, but no thanks. So no herring on the plate for Renee of any kind. So what would you have instead? Lobster, salmon, crab, tuna? Seared mahi. Oh, really good. And of course, you don't want the farm raised salmon. If you're going to get salmon, wild Atlantic is the better. I see the little kids at the beach sitting on their iPhones all day. We never got out of the water. Different world. Right. I'm the same way. You still have to drag me out of the water. I'm an ocean person, as I've mentioned many, many times before. Grew up near the ocean, still live by the ocean on the East Coast here of the United States, and take me away from the ocean, and it's like, but now, they'll go to the beach and they'll be right on top of each other, and they're all on the iPhones, taking pictures of themselves at the beach as opposed to just enjoying the beach. I mean, we would bring our cameras, but it'd be like a quick Instamatic, take a couple quick group shots or whatever, and that's it, but not make the whole thing about just posting the pictures. Dick Van Dyke has been dancing a long time. Yes, he has. And do you know, little secret here, if you didn't know, Dick Van Dyke wasn't a dancer when he was selected for the Dick Van Dyke Show. Carl Reiner and Sheldon Leonard and the team, they were in New York and they saw Dick Van Dyke on stage in Bye Bye Birdie in Broadway, and they picked him to be the person, because the show was originally called Head of the Family, and it was originally starring Carl Reiner, who created it. but it didn't work too well with Carl as, the actor. So they reconfigured it, and that's where they found Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, and all the rest. Rosemary is the one who found Maury Amsterdam. Did you know that? Rosemary is the one who found Maury Amsterdam. They were friends for years. She called him up and said, "Hey, Maury, they're launching this show." And Rosemary is quoted as well. Maury Amsterdam is quoted when the producers, when Carl Reiner and I think Sheldon Leonard approached Rosemary, who was already a legendary singer, dancer, actress for years. She was on Red Skelton and so much more. And they said, "We would like you to be on the Dick Van Dyke Show." She said, "What's a Dick Van Dyke?" She actually did. And then when Rosemary called Maury, because they needed the character of Buddy Sorrell, Rosemary called Maury, who was in New York City, and said, "Hey, it's Rosemary. There's a new show that's being produced. It's going to be on CBS. It's being filmed out here at the Desilu Studios in Hollywood. And I think you'd be great for the part of Buddy Sorrell." And he said, "Well, what's the name of the show?" And she said, "It's Dick Van Dyke Show." And he too said, "What's a Dick Van Dyke?" That's funny, a little trivia there for you. And he's been dancing for you. So he wasn't a trained dancer. And in interviews, he said he wasn't a trained dancer. It's just that he, got the ability right away. Mary Tyler Moore was a trained dancer. She was in the Hot Point commercials before they selected her for the part of Laura Petrie on the show. But she was a trained dancer. Dick Van Dyke wasn't, and then just became as amazing because he was also in Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and so much more. And then other iterations of the Dick Van Dyke Show, as well as Mary Tyler Moore. Let's see, more comments coming in. No, we had to sit there until we finished because we were poor. You had to finish everything on your plate because money was tight. That makes sense. Lettuce does well in shaded areas of the yard. Yes, lettuce likes shade. It does not like, it doesn't like bright sun. My grandfather grew horseradish root. Oh, that's something that I do love. It would, the real horseradish root will set your throat on fire for sure. I love horseradish in certain things, horseradish mustard. Again, I get that from my father. My mother doesn't, and my sister and my others in the family, they don't necessarily go for the horseradish, but I do like it. I like that little kick. Not too much. I'm not into those like real crazy peppers that once I was on a TV shoot once and we were eating at a Mexican restaurant. I was supposed to be showing on camera me eating to show the reaction to the food that the chef made because we were visiting restaurants and cooking with the chef for this lifestyle travel TV series that I host. And there was something that was in one of these dishes and I was a bit into it. It was the most unbelievable feeling in the throat and the mouth. It was, I forget the name of the pepper. There's a certain kind of pepper that's the pepper. It's the one and only pepper that will just knock you out. And there was nothing you could eat or really do to get rid of it. It was incredible. I think milk helps. They say milk can help, but it was unbelievable. I forget the name of that pepper. Big crock in the basement where we had dill pickles. Dill pickles are great as well. Margie Inman in Vancouver, Washington. Good to see you as well. Fantastic. Singing for us would be great. Okay, I will. That is duly noted. Christopher Joseph, cherry leaf fills. And yes, he is. Is that why you're not going to bed? Not going to bed yet. Oh, is that why Willie's not going to bed? I see why, Willie. Me either, Renee. We would have to quarantine to go there. Yes, our numbers are rising again. Yeah, you'd have to quarantine. There's like 32 states now where you'd have to quarantine if you came this way. Tasha, yeah, even if you start a few days, how does that work out? Yes, that's a good question. It's great to have you with us, Tasha. Welcome to the show. Even if you're staying for a few days, how does that work out? That's the quarantine is interesting because you have to do it for 14 days. And I don't think you can do it. I don't think you're allowed to go to, I don't think you, like if you're going to see family, I'm not sure if you can stay with the family or not, or if you have to go somewhere specific. I know Florida was doing it when the Northeast was experiencing a rough time with it. So Florida put a quarantine on anybody coming from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. we would have to quarantine for 14 days, and you couldn't go to your family. So you couldn't quarantine like up in a bedroom at your family's house. You had to go to like a specific hotel they designated or a specific area. I'm not sure how it's working here. Welcome, Tasha. It's great to have you on the show. Renee, I know there are many cars with New York license plates going down Interstate 80 here in Iowa. Yeah, so, and they're going to want to come back this way. Could be Irish here. Yes, I know. It's really interesting when you think about it, right? People from out of state are clamoring for beach rentals for the summer, especially Floridians. Well, that's what happens. For those of you in other parts of the world who don't know, people in the northeastern United States along the East Coast, they like to go south, usually sometimes in the summer, to places like Florida, Myrtle Beach, other places, the Keys of Florida. And then in the wintertime, the Floridians like to, wait, it's the other way around. The Northerners like to go down in the summertime because it's warmer in the South. And then the Floridians and the folks from the South come up here in the summertime because they like to have the beach rentals, along the coasts, fall foliage trips. It's beautiful in the fall with the foliage and hay rides and apple cider and pumpkins and all that real historical Americana. So they like to come up here for that in the winter when everybody else in the North tends to go down. In the Midwest and Canada, they like to generally go to the West Coast of Florida. The East Coasters, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, they like to go to generally, not all the time, the East Coast of Florida. But that's interesting. It's going to be interesting. Want to say thank you for being generous, gracious, and interactive with all of us. My pleasure. I love doing that, and it's my pleasure to do that. The show is all about us, light, love, levity, as we've called it, agree. And I always soak the asparagus in whiskey overnight. Wow, that sounds really good. Watch people happily stagger away from the table, and they're like, oh, what happened? All we had was asparagus. Why am I getting a little loopy? The secret is in the whiskey. You got to watch out for that, Christopher Joseph. He's the one that probably poured a little something in the holiday punch bowl as well, and you were all giddy about it, and you don't know why, and it's because he got a little something he put in that punch bowl when you thought it was a whole bowl of Hawaiian punch. It gave you a punch, but there was a little something else in there, maybe his whiskey. You've gotten so hungry, I'm going to fix dinner. Well, that's always good to do. And enjoy. What are you making? You must tell us if you're starving. What are you going to make for dinner? Salmon is a favorite. Crab legs, lobster as well. And agreed. More comments coming in. I love the ocean. My favorite place. Me too, Margie, I love it too. And sea scallops, white belly clams, really nice. Whole belly clams. Yeah. And Renee says, my grandmother met Dick Van Dyke on a flight back home from California. She had gone to Disneyland and had toys for us kids in her carry-on bag. And she showed Dick the Mickey Mouse jumping toy she got you. And Dick played with it on the plane. LOL. He was on his way to Iowa to film the movie Cold Turkey. Yeah, because he's from Iowa. Isn't he from Davenport, Iowa? Because I know they said that in the Dick Van Dyke Show. Watched Patrick Swayze last night, Dirty Dancing. What a dancer. I know. It's too bad we lost him at a relatively young age. You're awake when Paul sings. It's later than you sleep. Then you sleep. After Jim and Paul. It's the tag team here for you. Sorry, just got company. Have to go. Loved what I saw. I will watch rerun. Yes, that is fantastic. Say hello to the company. Tell the company about our show on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, Facebook Jim Masters TV, and the company will be able to watch it in the future as well. I want you to sing, Jim, pretty please. Stay tuned. We are working on a couple of things with that. You were at Culver's a couple of days ago for lunch, and there were people from New York in front of you without masks on, and they told me they were on their way back home. Uh-oh, close the gates. And when we were in Guam, there's a pepper named Booney. It was so hot, the islanders used with chicken or fish because it was so hot, it would chemically cook the fish. They said, eat bread and stay away from it. Oh, I don't doubt it. Ernestine, sorry, late joining. I was doing yard work. Well, we waited for you, Ernestine, there in North Carolina. Always great to have you here. And yeah, you said that you watched Patrick Swayze last night, Christine Fairwood, and that was a really good movie. And Marsha Lyon, good to see you in Massachusetts, Marsha Lyon, for I think the first time, right? Or maybe you've been watching in this first comment. I've known her for years, dear friend. She used to come into public television and answer phones and volunteer her time at public television when I would be hosting and co-hosting. And we actually have broken bread in New York City, and we've gone to events with a lot of the Irish performers. Went to a couple of really cool places. Dear friend up there in Massachusetts, good to see you. Hope everything is going well in your family life and everybody's doing okay, Marsha. And we're here usually every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, with our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. And I also want to celebrate some birthdays today as well. And I want to show you some cool things we have here. We have some birthdays to celebrate, and of some very famous, fabulous people. Do you recognize that face? Talk show host, or he was a talk show host for many, many years, as we celebrate. And if any of you are having birthdays, or you have loved ones that are having birthdays, we celebrate you as well. This is Montel Williams, or born Montel Brian Anthony Williams. Born July 3rd, 1956, former American television host, actor, motivational speaker, best known as host of the long-running daytime tabloid talk show, The Montel Williams Show, which ran in syndication from 1991 to 2008. Montel is active with the nonprofit MS Multiple Sclerosis Foundation, which he founded after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis himself in 1999. Additionally, Montel Williams is noted for his service in both the U.S. Marine Corps and the U.S. Navy, from which he was honorably discharged after 15 years of service. Here's another. Now, you may remember Ernestine. You might recognize this individual here because he's from North Carolina originally. He's a television actor and director from originally North Carolina. This is Thomas Gibson, or Thomas Ellis Gibson, born July 3rd, 1962, American actor and director. He portrayed Daniel Nyland in the CBS television series Chicago Hope from 1994 to 2000. He also portrayed Greg Montgomery in the ABC television series Dharma and Greg, which was from 1997 to 2002. He also played Aaron Hotchner in the CBS television series Criminal Minds from 2005 to 2016. And Thomas Gibson hails from North Carolina, Ernestine. I'm sure you probably knew that. He's a terrific actor. And today is his birthday as well. Here is a brilliant singer as well as actress. She's got such a phenomenal operatic voice as well. This is Audra McDonald, born Audra Ann McDonald, born July 3rd, 1970. American actress and singer, primarily known for her work on the Broadway stage. She has won 6 Tony Awards, more performance wins than any other actor. She's also the only person to win all 4 acting categories, and she's performed in musicals, operas, dramas, such as A Moon for the Misbegotten, 110 in the Shade, Carousel, Ragtime, Masterclass, and Porgy and Bess as well. She is a classical soprano. She's performed literally all over. And on television, she portrayed Dr. Naomi Bennett as a main cast member of Shonda Rhimes' ABC television drama Private Practice from 2007 to 2011. She also portrayed the character of Liz Lawrence on season 4 of The Good Wife, which was on CBS. And also the main character in the spin-off series, The Good Fight. In 2013, she performed the role of Mother Superior in The Sound of Music Live opposite Carrie Underwood as Maria. She has twice been nominated for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress and a limited series or movie for her portrayals of Susie Monahan in Wit, opposite Emma Thompson in 2001, and so much more. She's also been in several films as well. Now, here's another person in the food category. We've been talking about so much food tonight on the program, and now we are all starving. Let me see if I can, if we have, oh, there she is right there. There we go. Not sure if you know her, you might if you watch, food channels and things of that nature. This is Sandra Lee. She is the chef, the TV food chef, television chef, and author. She is best known for her semi-homemade cooking concept. She was born Sandra Lee Christensen, July 3rd, 1966. Now, her semi-homemade cooking concept is where Sandra describes it as using 70% prepackaged products and 30% fresh items. She was also the partner of Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York. She served as New York's de facto first lady from 2011 to 2019 when the couple had ended the relationship. Now, here's a brilliant name in the world of music, and this is George M. Cohan, born George Michael Cohan, July 3rd, 1878. He passed November 5th, 1942, but the amount of music that he's been known for, that we all still, and not just music, he was an American entertainer, playwright, composer, lyricist, actor, singer, dancer, and theatrical producer. He began his career as a child performing with his parents and his sister in a vaudeville act known as the Four Cohans, beginning with Little Johnny Jones in 1904. And he wrote, composed, produced, and appeared in more than 36 Broadway musicals. He wrote more than 50 shows, published more than 300 songs during his lifetime, including the standards Over There, Give My Regards to Broadway, The Yankee Doodle Boy, and You're a Grand Old Flag. As a composer, he was one of the early members of the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, which is now called ASCAP, of course, and he displayed remarkable theatrical longevity, appearing in films until the 1930s and continuing to perform as a headline artist until 1940. Incredible. His life and music were depicted in the Oscar-winning film Yankee Doodle Dandy. And do you know that that is the state song for the state of Connecticut, Yankee Doodle Dandy? Each state has its own song. Yankee Doodle Dandy is the state of Connecticut's song. And in the 1968 musical George M., he was saluted as well. A salute of Cohan in Times Square, New York City commemorates his contributions to American musical theater. And here's another face. Now you're going to remember this face. It's his birthday too. That is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise's birthday. Born Thomas Cruise Mapother, born July 3rd, 1962. Of course, American actor and producer. He received various accolades for his work, including 3 Golden Globe Awards and 3 nominations for the Academy Awards. With a net worth of $570 million as of 2020, he is one of the highest paid actors in the world. In addition, his films have grossed over $4 billion in North America and over $10.1 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest grossing box office stars of all time. Some of the movies, of course, Risky Business, Top Gun, The Color of Money, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, and so much more. Really incredible. A Few Good Men, Firm, Vampire, incredible. Golden Globes, Magnolia. I mean, it's incredible. Just an unbelievable. The Mission Impossible series, Minority Report, The Last Samurai, Collateral, War of the Worlds, Night and Day, Oblivion, Edge of Tomorrow, on and on. Incredible. The body of work that he has been known for. Again, we're talking about Tom Cruise. And it's his birthday today. And we celebrate him and his birthday as well. And how about this face? Another brilliant actress and singer and performer with yours truly. You know who that is? Well, I can give you a couple of clues. She played the wife on the TV series 8 is Enough on ABC with Dick Van Patten and the whole crew. And Diana Hyland played the wife first, Mrs. Bradford, but and she was dating Diana Hyland, the actress, was dating John Travolta at the time that she was performing as the wife of the Bradford family mother and the wife of Dick Van Patten's role in Eight Is Enough. But Diana Hyland, unfortunately, had passed away, I think, after the first season. So they brought in Betty Buckley. That is the famous Betty Buckley. And she was also in the original Broadway play Cats. And she is the one who sung that song, Memory. Memory, midnight, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. That is her. This actually photo is of me and the wonderful Betty Buckley at a gala event that was in Connecticut, celebrating the 100th birthday of the Schubert Theater, a really beautiful gala event. Her name is Betty Buckley, but it's really Betty Lynn Buckley. Born July 3rd, 1947, American actress and singer. She won the 1983 Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in the Musical for her role in the original Broadway production of Cats. She went on to play Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard from 1994 to 96 in both London and New York, receiving a 1995 Levity Award. That nomination, again, she received the nomination for Best Actress in a Musical. She was also nominated for the 1997 Tony Award for Best Actress in a Musical for Triumph of Love. And her other Broadway credits include 1776, that was back in 1969, Pippin in 1973, and The Mystery of Edwin Drood in 1985. She is also a two-time Daytime Emmy Award nominee, a two-time Grammy Award nominee, and a 2012 American Theater Hall of Fame inductee. She starred in the TV series Eight Is Enough from 1977 to 1981 and played gym teacher Ms. Collins in the 1976 film Carrie. Do you remember Carrie, the horror film Carrie? Yes, she played Ms. Collins, the gym teacher in the 1976 film Carrie, before going on to star in the short-lived Broadway musical version of Carrie in 1988, playing Carrie White's mother, Margaret. Her other film roles include Dixie Scott in Tender Mercies back in 1983, Sandra Walker in Frantic in 1988, Kathy in Another Woman in 1988, or Kathy in Another Woman, 1988, and Mrs. Jones in The Happening in 2008. She received a Saturn Award nomination for her role as Dr. Karen Fletcher in the 2016 film Split. Her other television credits include the series Oz from 2001 to 2003 and the series Preacher in 2018. From September 2018 to August 2019, she also starred in the title role of the United States national tour of Hello, Dolly. That's right. That is the incomparable actress, Betty Buckley. And here's another cool shot with myself and Betty Buckley. And do you recognize the gentleman on the right? Oh boy, he was quite a heartthrob and teen idol for a long time. He's still performing and acting and singing. That is Rex Smith. You guys remember Rex Smith? Yep. He was in a television series too, and there was that song that he had that was really popular. That's Rex Smith, and then myself in the middle, and that's the incomparable Betty Buckley there on the left. And we celebrate Betty Buckley on her birthday today. Happy birthday to Betty Buckley. Cool shot. How many of you remember Rex Smith? Again, very popular actor as well. More comments coming in, so we salute those folks and their birthdays. And if you have a birthday coming up, we celebrate you as well. Speak of the devil here. My birthday in 10 days, 39 and holding. Well, we will be celebrating your birthday as we get closer. And here's a pre-happy birthday to you, Renee. And let's see. My Polish grandmother was originally from Boston. So did she make glumpies? First time I heard glumpies, I was saying, wow. A friend of mine made glumpies, and we call it stuffed cabbage, but that's basically what it is, and really, really delicious. And glumpies, pierogies too. Remember, I showed a picture a couple of weeks ago when I was on a TV show where I was taught to make pierogies, and it was delicious. And July 5th is your birthday, July 5th, Linda? It is. Well, we'll have to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well. This is your birthday weekend. We salute you as well as all of those wonderful folks in entertainment that we just saluted, like my dear friend Betty Buckley. So happy birthday to you. And Ernestine says yes. And Dharma and Greg, yeah, great series. And happy birthday to all of them as well. And you remember Rex Smith, right? That great picture. That is Rex Smith and myself and the wonderful Betty Buckley. And I do love this shot with Betty. Again, this was at a gala event celebrating the 100th birthday celebration. It was really beautiful celebration, 100th birthday celebration of the Schubert Theater in New Haven, Connecticut. And you loved Eight Is Enough. Yes. And she's still a wonderful friend and dear person and brilliant actress and singer. And love her. She's as nice and sweet and wonderful and warm and affable and friendly and talented as you would hope. That's the incomparable Betty Buckley. And we say happy birthday again to her. And so we've got 4th of July really on our doorstep here. And I hope you guys are going to have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Just be safe and smile and share some light, levity, and love with you and your family and your friends, whatever you may be doing. We've got a wonderful week of guests coming up. We'll be announcing some of them. As I mentioned, a week from today, Stan Livingston is joining us, and he played Chip in My Three Sons, the legendary TV series My Three Sons. He's coming up. And you know who else is coming? On Saturday, Chloe Agnew, the incredible Chloe Agnew from one of the originals from Celtic Woman, and so much more. She's got a brilliant solo career. She's all excited. I've known her for years, interviewed her on public television multiple times. Chloe Agnew, one of the original singers and performers from Celtic Woman. She's going to be here Saturday night, a week from tomorrow night. Wow. But we have guests all week long too. But I love it, even when it's just us. I'm a host, and that's what I do. And it's great to have you here nightly with us. And you guys are the stars. As I say, I might be the star of the show. You're a friendly host here, but you guys, you and you and you and you and you. On this show, I don't know I can't speak for anything else, but on this show, you guys are the stars on the Jim Masters Show Live. We thank you for joining us here. We're going to wrap it up so you can enjoy the rest of your evening on a Friday. We're all starving. I don't know, are you guys still hungry? I would say let's all meet up somewhere for a bite to eat, but we can't. We got to be socially distancing. So everybody in California and Iowa and Florida and Chicago and New York and Boston and North Carolina and all around the world, we say relax, breathe, take care of one another, love one another, be good to one another, breathe from the diaphragm. Have a wonderful Independence holiday weekend as well. Love you all. You take care. Enjoy that sweet corn. Smiles to you all. And again, we're here nightly, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, exclusively here on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Spread the word, share the links to all the shows. You can follow me on Facebook and YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We would love that. Tell your friends about it. All the shows are archived there as well. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well at Jim Masters TV. Love you all. Take care. Be well. Be good to one another. Enjoy your life. We're here now, and life is for living, right? Couple more comments coming in. Everybody says happy 4th. And bye all. Happy 4th to you as well, Marcia. You have a wonderful weekend as well, Kathleen. You're having pizza for supper. That sounds good. Jim, I will watch you on YouTube to see what I missed. Bye all as well. And Renee, and good evening, Merlyn and Willie as well. We love all of you. We love all this outpouring of support. Spread the word to all of your family and friends about our show and your colleagues, so more people can continue to experience the Jim Masters Show Live. Again, on Monday, it's the start of our 10th week. We're going to round numbers. It's going to be week number 10. That's very exciting. We love that. And enjoy having a great holiday tomorrow as well. You too. Good night all, and happy 4th. You as well, Christine and nice 4th of July, everyone. Willie, thank you very much. We send you love and light from all of us here. And another great show, Jim, from Austin Field. We appreciate that. Austin, thanks for watching there on YouTube on the channel, Jim Masters channel on YouTube. So thanks, everybody. We will see you again on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Love having you here. Don't forget, find us on YouTube. All the episodes are on YouTube. You can check it all out. You can enjoy it all. That's what it's all there for. And many, many more shows coming up. We are just getting started. You too, Marsha. You stay safe and you be well, my friend. We love you as well. All right, gang. Thanks from us here at the Jim Masters Show Live here in the United States to all of you all across the country and around the world. We love you and thank you so much for joining us here. Happy birthday to all those celebrating birthdays. If you're celebrating over the weekend, you as well, Ernestine, a very happy Independence Day holiday weekend to you as well. And thank you so very much for all the love. Fun show tonight. A good night, Kathleen, to you as well. I think all of us are going to eat. Some of you are having pizza. Alice Gibson in California is making dinner. I think we're all going to be eating. I'm getting starved just talking about food. Love food, right? I'm going to have some food here very, very soon. And maybe one of these shows will do cooking and all kinds of stuff as well. Yes. Oh, a lot of smooches there from Willie. Well, we thank you and we send them right back to you, Willie. Thanks for being a part of our show and for everybody, all of you wonderful people from around the world. Spread the word. That's what helps the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Every episode is something different, something fun and unique. And again, light, levity, and love is what it's all about. Or as we sort of coined the phrase, levity, from me to you and all the cast of characters here. Love you all. Have a great night. Take care. Be well. Happy 4th of July. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care. Have a great day and a great night. Bye-bye.